Hello everyone, welcome to A Square classes. My name is Dr. Saili Suryavanshi, and in today's lecture, we are going to continue with the viruses part that we stopped in the last lecture. Okay. So today our topic of discussion is coronavirus, right? Since it is the most trending topic since the beginning of 2020. Okay, so coronavirus is one of the virus which becomes an important topic for you all to remember and to know for your NEET and your exam, right? So in today's lecture, we'll just get a gist of what coronavirus is, since it is the topic of virus that we've been studying. Okay, so let's see and learn what coronavirus is. All right. So coronavirus, the name of the virus is coronavirus. Where did it origin or where did it come from? So we'll just get into brief the history of coronavirus. The coronavirus causes the coronavirus disease, that is the COVID-19. Okay. So if you break down this word COVID-19, you get CO from corona, VI from virus and D from the disease. Okay, and why is it called 19? Because this strain of the COVID, this strain of coronavirus, it was mutant and found in the year 2019. Okay, so the coronavirus strain that is causing disease and havoc in the world right now, that strain is mutated from in the year 2019. Okay, so coronavirus strain which is causing disease presently is of the year 2019, but coronavirus as a virus can be dated back to the early 90s. Okay, so let's see what is the history like. Fine, so firstly it is an RNA virus. Okay, so that is the RNA is the major genetic substance of this coronavirus, right? So we've seen in the previous lectures that a virus will either have a DNA as its genetic substance or it will have an RNA as its genetic substance. Okay. So in corona, we usually see that the genetic material or the genetic substance is the RNA. Okay. So we say coronavirus is an RNA virus, or the genome of coronavirus is of the RNA type. Okay. So because its genetic material is made of RNA, we say that coronavirus is the RNA virus. Alright. Coronavirus causes the disease COVID-19. COVID-19 is not the name of the virus. Okay. The virus's name is coronavirus. The disease that it causes is COVID-19. Okay. So COVID-19 can also be written as coronavirus disease 2019. Why 2019? Because this disease came into existence, this virus which was mutated, it came into existence from the year 2019 in China, right? Though in China, but still it first came into being in the year 2019. That is why we say that it is the COVID-19, okay, COVID-19. Coronavirus, it was originated in the year 1930. Okay, in the 1930 as a respiratory infection of chickens. Okay, so in the year 1930, this coronavirus was first detected in the world. Okay, the first strain or first type of coronavirus was detected in the world in the year 1930. Okay, how did it present itself? It presented itself in an acute respiratory infection of chickens. Okay, acute respiratory infection of chickens. So this disease basically came into existence as a disease in hen or in chickens. Okay, so there were a group of domesticated chickens. Okay, a group of farm chickens. Okay, so in them there were symptoms of respiratory illnesses seen. Okay, which were very acute in nature. Now, what is the meaning of acute? Okay, what is the meaning of acute? Acute means any symptom or any disease which lasts for a very short time. Okay, it starts suddenly. The onset of the disease is very sudden and it lasts for a very short time and it gets over immediately, right? So such diseases are called as acute. Acute diseases are the ones which last for a short duration of time, alright? Whereas this disease, the respiratory disease, which was it in chickens, it was of acute origin. That is, this disease was a sudden disease for a short duration of time span. Which system did it affect? It affected the respiratory system of the chickens, right? So coronavirus from its very beginning has been a disease of the respiratory tract. Alright, so respiratory system of chicken were affected. That is when first we understood that in 1930 there is a virus called as a coronavirus. Okay. Next, it was found later in 1940s, in the year of 1940s, that this coronavirus, it was affecting mice. It was affecting the population of mice, right? So initially the affection or the host chosen by this virus was hens, right? In the hen or in chicken. Later, within 1940s, we see that the host was mice. So later mice were the choice of host that this virus had, right? So affection of corona was later seen in mice as well. Human coronavirus was discovered in the 1960s. Okay, so in the early 1960s, where it was seen that coronavirus affected the humans also. Okay, so this was in brief the history of coronavirus, where we saw what is the coronavirus. It is the virus which is of RNA origin, or it has a genetic substance or genome made of an RNA. Okay, the genetic substance is an RNA, the genome consists of an RNA, so we can say that coronavirus is an RNA virus. Okay, it causes the disease coronavirus disease, also known as the COVID-19. This virus was first originated in the 1930s, where it was detected in a group of domesticated chickens who suffered from an acute respiratory infection. Okay. Then later in 1940s, we saw that it was affecting the mice population or a group of mice, right? Then in the 1960s, we saw that there was human affection or human infection of corona also possible. Okay. So this is about the history of affections of the coronavirus. Okay. Now let's go to morphology of the COVID virus or the coronavirus, right? So morphology means something like which relates to the appearance of the virus. Okay, how the virus is going to present or how the virus is going to appear. Okay, so based on that, let's study how the virus actually looks like. All right. Now morphology, large spherical virus. So probably corona is one of the very largest viruses that we have encountered till date. Okay, so it is a very big molecule, a very big structure, a very big virus which is spherical in nature. Okay, it is spherical in nature, round in nature, right? And it is one of the largest viruses that are known till now. Okay, big sized, big molecule size of this virus is present. So these viruses are very large and they present as spherical, right? Unki shape spherical hoti hai, and it is one of the it's one of the largest viruses that we have seen. Okay, it has a bulbous surface. Okay, now what is a bulbous surface? That means the surface of the virus is filled with these spikes which look like bulbs. Okay, spikes which look like bulbs, like this. Right? So we have seen the diagram or the picture of coronavirus everywhere, almost in every advertisement that we come across, every hand wash advertisement or any government policy or any advertisement or any banner which tells us about the COVID-19. Over there we've seen about this coronavirus diagram several times, right? So you must have seen that the virus is described as a circular or a spherical structure which has lots of red colored, usually they show it in red color, right? The red colored bulbous structures are present. So that is why we say that the COVID-19 or the coronavirus is of the bulbous surface. It has the bulbous surface, that is, it has these spikes, bulbous spikes all over the surface. Okay, so the surface is filled with, in 3 dimension, if you see this diagram of the virus, you will see that the entire surface of this virus is filled with these bulbous spikes, bulb-like spikes. Okay, average diameter of the coronavirus is 125 nanometer. Okay, please remember this. Average size, yes, we say that it is one of the largest viruses that we've seen till now. The average size of it, that is, the size of coronavirus, the diameter of coronavirus is 125 nanometer. Okay, 125 nanometer is quite a size for a virus, right? We know viruses are extremely tiny, extremely small structures, right? We've studied that viruses are way smaller than bacteria also. They cross the bacterial filter. Viruses are meant to be very small creatures. but this virus is of 125 nanometer, which is quite a big size for a virus to have. Okay, so average diameter of coronavirus is 125 nanometer. Diameter of the envelope is 85 nanometer. Okay, so envelope, that is, this is the envelope, the blue surface, it's the envelope. So uska diameter is about 85 nanometer. Okay, and the spikes, these spikes, they are about 20 nanometer. Okay, they are big, as big as 20 nanometer. So their length is 20 nanometer. Okay, if you see the virus with the spike, it is going to be 125 nanometer, and if you see the internal circumference from the envelope to envelope, the diameter is going to be 85. Okay, spikes पकड़ के अगर हमने diameter count किया या shape size count की, so it is going to be 125, almost roughly 125 nanometer का diameter मिलेगा हमें if we are counting the spikes also, okay, which are 20 each, right? But if we are just counting from the envelope to envelope, okay, this is the envelope of the virus. So from here to here, if we calculate, the diameter of this virus ranges up to 85 nanometer. Okay, so these are the dimensions of the coronavirus, where the virus is a bulbous surface. It has bulbs all around the surface. It has spikes all around the surface, which look like bulbs. Okay, then average diameter is of 125 nanometer. From envelope to envelope, inside diameter is of 85 nanometer, and each bulb which is present on the surface of the virus, each bulb is of 20 nanometer. Alright, so this is in short the morphology of the coronavirus. The viral envelope, yes, the envelope which is of viral in origin, that is, it belongs to a virus, right? So it is called as the viral envelope. So the viral envelope, it consists of a lipid bilayer in which the membrane, the envelope and the spikes are anchored. So there is a lipid bilayer in which the membrane, the envelope and the spikes are anchored. So suppose if this is the virus proper, there is a layer inside to which there will be the attachment of the spikes to that layer, right? Not just that, but the membrane or the inner surface of the virus, that is also attached, and this envelope is also attached, right? If you can see over here, it is attached by these membrane proteins. Okay, so the virus is made up of two layers, okay, bilayers of lipid, like lipid bilayer, and it has several of these bulbous spikes which are attached to it. Not just these spikes, but also the envelope is attached to it, and also a membrane is attached to it. Fine. So this is the function of the envelope, where the viral membrane, the viral outermost covering of a virus, that is the viral envelope, it is going to contain attachment for all these three. Okay, attachment for the membrane, attachment for the envelope and attachment for the spikes. So ये तीनों चीजें are going to be attached on the viral envelope. Okay, so this is in short about the morphology of the virus. Okay, continuing the part of morphology, we see inside the envelope of the virus, there is a nucleocapsid which is formed from multiple copies of the nucleocapsid protein. Now, the nucleocapsid, or the presence of capsid near the nucleus, we see what is capsid, right? Capsid is a covering which is made up of proteins, and it encompasses the nucleus of the virus, right? It covers the nucleus of the virus. So this capsid or the nucleocapsid of this coronavirus, what is it made of? It is made from multiple copies of the nucleocapsid protein. Okay, मतलब क्या? Nucleocapsid protein जो है, ये बार-बार multiply करेगा, replicate करेगा, ठीक है? It will make it many copies like itself, right? And with that, it will prepare a nucleocapsid proper. Okay? So ये जो protein है, nucleocapsid बनने में जो लगते हैं proteins, nucleocapsid proteins कहेंगे उन्हें. Okay, so ये proteins क्या करेंगे? It will multiply themselves. Okay, they will increase that number. Fine. So जब ये number बढ़ेगा, तब क्या करेंगे वो? एक proper covering बनाएंगे around the nucleus, right? So this is the nucleocapsid protein or nucleocapsid which is used for the protection of the nucleus. Alright. The lipid bilayer envelope, which we just saw, lipid bilayer envelope, the membrane proteins, that is the proteins, membrane proteins which are attached here, okay, and the nucleocapsid which is right over here, the nucleocapsid. Fine. What are they going to do? They protect the virus when it is outside the host cell. So what are they going to protect? They are going to protect the RNA of this virus, right? RNA of the virus is very important. It is the genetic substance of that virus, right? So ये genetic substance जो है virus की, that these three are going to protect, right? So this genetic substance is very sensitive. It can be destroyed outside of the host. We've seen this during the characteristics discussion of virus, where we discussed that virus always and always need a host. If they don't have a host to live inside, viruses don't survive in the environment, right? But this virus, this COVID-19 virus or coronavirus of the year 2019 is so mutated and so advanced that it can take care of itself, or it can survive outside the host body also, right? So just like how Baki viruses cannot survive in the outside environment, this coronavirus, the newer strain of coronavirus 2019, it has made sure by the process of mutation that it can survive in the environment. How has it made it sure? By the presence of the bilayer envelope, lipid bilayer envelope, the membrane proteins and the nucleocapsid, the lipid bilayer envelope, the membrane proteins and the nucleocapsid. So these three basically are the substances, these three things which are present in the structure of the virus are what are going to give this virus a sturdy and a long viable life, okay? Because we know that this virus will not be able to live, not be able to survive in the environment, okay? Unless and until it stays in the host, the virus can have no life, right? But ये virus क्या होता है? It for some days or the other, this virus can survive in outside the body of the host also. It can survive on surfaces of objects, right? It can survive in the air, right? So because of, why do they survive? Okay, because of the presence of these three who are protecting the virus from the environmental influences, okay? The lipid bilayer envelope, the membrane protein and the nucleocapsid, okay? So ये तीन चीजें जो है वो वायरस को प्रोटेक्ट करेंगी, so that environment की कोई stimulus जो है, environment की कोई harmful factors ये वायरस को affect ना कर पाए, okay? So this is how the virus is going to stay in the environment. This is how the virus will able to survive in the environment, okay? Otherwise it is mandatory for viruses to live in the host body so that they can live for a longer time. But this virus does not really need to stay in the host body for survival. It can stay for some days provided it has protection from the lipid bilayer envelope, the membrane proteins and the nucleocapsid, okay? So let's just see this diagram very quickly. This is a spherical surface of the virus, right? It is made of the spikes, the bulbous spikes. What is the spike made of? It is made up of glycoprotein, that is, it is a mixture of a glucose and a protein molecule, okay? So glucose and protein मिलाकर जो glycoprotein बनता है उससे ये spikes बने हुए होते हैं, okay? Then there are membrane proteins which again help the virus stay outside in the environment. We have a nucleoprotein which is present on the RNA. This entire structure is an RNA, okay? And we have an envelope. So this is exactly how the coronavirus looks like on its cross section, okay? Okay, so moving ahead, we see further details of the coronavirus, okay? So what is the genome of the coronavirus? The basic genomic structure or the structure inside of the virus, okay? So that is a single stranded RNA, okay? So there will be a single stranded RNA present inside of this virus. We know that coronavirus is an RNA virus, right? So the basic genomic structure or genetic structure of the virus is an RNA, right? So we know that RNA can present in two types. It can either be single stranded or it can be double stranded, okay? So here we see that the coronavirus presents to us with a single stranded RNA, okay? So the RNA is going to be single stranded. There is just going to be one strand of RNA in the nucleus of the virus, of this very virus. Okay, so that is the genome part of the virus. Then we see what is transmission. Now transmission is how the virus spreads. Okay, how the virus spreads. This becomes a very important topic of discussion, because if we understand how the disease is spreading, we can very well prevent it, right? So once we know how a certain element is spreading, we can stop that method so that the transmission of virus stops. Okay, so firstly, what an important thing is host to host. Okay, host to host is an important way of, or very severe way of transmission of the virus. So host to host माने जो person है, sufferer है, already carrier है virus का, he can very well transmit the disease to another person, another healthy person. Okay, so how does this happen? Usually when we are stay or stand at a very close distance, okay, we cannot see it, but when we talk, or when we sneeze, or when we cough, okay, or we talk loudly, what happens is there are certain droplets which come out of the mouth. Okay, these droplets are molecules of the saliva, molecules of the spit, right? These droplets basically carry the coronavirus. All right, so which is why we are advised to, one reason for wearing mask is that if we are the sufferers, we should not let that infection go to somebody else. Okay, so that is why one of the reasons to wear mask is to stop the spreading of the disease. Okay, also this droplet infection, or these droplets of spit or saliva, when we speak and talk, they are basically very light in nature. Okay, very small, they're microscopic, and they are very light in nature. Okay, so because they are very light and small, they float in the air. They don't settle in the air because they are not heavy. Okay, they are so light that they float in the air. And if suppose I have spoken and the droplets are somewhere in this area, I leave the place. If somebody else comes and he or she inhales that same air, obviously that virus is going to enter his or her nose, right? So this is why it is advised to wear mask. Okay, not just for carrier. We never know who is a carrier, right? Carrier of the virus. So it is advised for everybody to wear masks. Okay, that is host to host transmission. Okay, more so, it is also said that shaking hand or maintaining body contact with people, okay, sharing the same substances or sharing the same articles is also one of the leading factors to spread the coronavirus. Okay, so what happens is when we usually our hands are in touch with the mouth, with the nose, right? When we sneeze, when we talk, when we cough, we usually cover our mouth with the hand, right? So what happens is these droplets, they might settle on the hand, on the palm, fine, and when we touch a particular object, when we touch some surface, the virus can very well transmit on that surface. Okay, so which is why in certain areas, certain places, it is also advised for people to constantly wear gloves. Okay, why gloves? Because when you wear gloves, you maintain a contactless environment, right? What will you do? It is not going to enter your skin. At the end of the day, or at regular intervals, you can dispose of the gloves and your hands stay clean, right? So host to host transmission of this coronavirus is also one of the leading causes for transmission of this virus. All right, then next is aerosol. Okay, aerosol means of air, right? So recently the World Health Organization, the WHO, it released a paper saying that coronavirus can spread through air also. That is, coronavirus can now be termed as airborne. Okay, this was towards the late June and the beginning of July. That is when the WHO released this paper, that they consider the coronavirus as an airborne, or an aerosol disease. Okay, why? Because of the same droplet infection that we just spoke of. Droplet infection is the infection which happens because of the saliva droplets which are released from the mouth while talking. Okay, we cannot see it. In some people there are quite big spits, but in all the people there are, while talking, the mouth basically spreads certain droplets, okay, which are very small in size. We cannot see them. They are microscopic. They are very small, right? And these droplets, they carry the coronavirus from the infected person in the air, right? And then those droplets float in the air. So if anybody passes through that very area, breathes that air, what will happen? The droplets will gain direct entry into the system of that person, a healthy person, hence there will be formation of disease. Okay, so that is your aerosol transmission. Next we come to fomite. Okay, very interesting. Fomite. Fomite is any non-living object. Okay, fomite is a non-living object which can be a carrier of the virus. Okay, now suppose if I am carrying the coronavirus, suppose, and I sneeze on my hand and I touch the pen. Okay, so what will happen? The virus from my hand will gain entry on the pen. Okay, and I keep the pen, and if somebody else comes and touches the pen, what will happen? The virus will go into that person. The virus will gain access to that person's body. Right, the virus will have entry on that person's hand, from the hand probably into the body while eating, okay, or if they are coughing or sneezing, whatever. Okay, so this is fomite infection, not just a pen, but it can be any non-living object. Okay, knobs of the door, okay, papers, any item which is shared by two or more people, any substance which is not private. Okay, which is why it is advised that people stay at a distance of at least 6 meters from each other, so that they don't touch common things. Also, while speaking for the aerosol transmission also, it is advised that people should stay far away from each other at a distance of 6 meters at least, right? Why? So that there will be no transmission of the disease, no transmission through aerosol method, right? For fomite, it is that we are not supposed to touch anything that is not ours, okay, firstly. Secondly, whatever we use should be sanitized properly, okay. So all the substances which are touched by anybody else, those substances you should sanitize, or make sure that you don't touch your mouth or your nose immediately after you touch anything unknown, right? And before you could touch your mouth or nose, you should sanitize your hands, right? It is said that if you rub your hands or sanitize or clean your hands for at least 20 seconds, at regular intervals of the day, there are very least chances of you to contract the coronavirus, alright? So that is your fomite transmission. Fomites are any non-living things which will be carriers of the coronavirus. Lastly, fecal-oral route, not so famous route of transmission, but yes, cannot be considered least one. Fecal-oral. There was a paper published in Spain. Okay, Spain was one of the leading countries in some few months ago to have lots of people of coronavirus. Right, Spain and Italy were the ones. So in Spain and also in Italy, it was reported that from the drains which used to carry the fecal matter of each and every resident, it used to purify, right? They used to purify for water. The sewage material used to be purified. So basically, these sewage material also carried the virus, right? So if a person who is suffering from coronavirus, the virus used to transmit through their excreta, transmit through the fecal matter, okay, the feces. And we all know that eventually this water is purified by various steps and eventually utilized into the using water, right? So this virus used to gain entry into the using water portal, and that is how it used to cause reinfections and infections in large population, right? Now water is something that everybody needs. Nobody can run away from water. Now this water, if it is infected with the virus, obviously a large group of population will contract with the disease, right? So that is your number 4, fecal-oral. Fecal-oral, that is the feces gain entry into drinking water or usable water routes, and that is how the virus is transmitted from person to person on the large scale, right? So this is how the transmission of coronavirus takes place, by host to host, by aerosol, fomite and fecal-oral. Okay. Now coronavirus, how does it basically affect? So its pathology, pathophysiology, or the mode of affection in very short is that it majorly affects the epithelial cells of the body. Now we know epithelial cells are the cells which line many of our important organs, right? It lines the respiratory organ, that is the columnar epithelial cells, they line our respiratory organ. Epithelial cells are all over your skin, right? Your internal organs are lined by squamous epithelial cells. Okay, so all these epithelial cells are the site of affection for this coronavirus. Okay, so the virus is basically going to attack or affect these epithelial cells. Okay, What are the symptoms? Symptoms seen in these COVID positive patients. Okay, COVID-19 disease जिनको है उनमें symptoms क्या दिखेंगे? The patient has cold, right? So cold is where there is a lot of fluid discharge from the nose. Okay, so that is cold. Because this is virus, the cold usually seen in the initial days is white in color. Okay, watery fluid runs out of the nose. Then next is dry cough. Yes, a very peculiar feature. It is not usually seen that coronavirus affected people or COVID positive people show cough with an expectoration, cough with a sputum outside, okay, or mucus falling outside. Fine. So cough is usually dry in nature. Then this fever. Yes. So fever ka we all know that every place that we are going these days, our fever, the temperature is being checked. People with more temperature, more than 98.7 temperature are not allowed in any premises. Okay, why? Because fever is one of the features which classifies or which hints towards being COVID positive. Okay, so all the patients of fever usually are considered to be COVID positive these days. Obviously, there is so much of fever, there is cough, there is cold, there will be fatigue. What is fatigue? Fatigue is fear of generalized weakness or tiredness which a patient feels. Okay, fatigue means weakness, right? Physical weakness. So because of all these things, obviously the patient is going to have fatigue, okay, or weakness overall. Shortness of breath, that is difficulty to breathe, okay, difficulty in breathing. So person who is COVID positive will show difficulty in breathing, signs of difficulty in breathing, right? The person finds it very difficult to breathe. सांस लेने में तकलीफ होना, सांस अटक जाना, all these things are seen in the patients of coronavirus or COVID virus. Very important thing which is seen in maximum of the patient, that is loss of smell and taste. Yes, very peculiarly, it is one of the very peculiar features of this coronavirus that there is loss of smell and loss of taste. We know that sensory organs are covered with epithelial cells, right? So loss of smell, किसी चीज की smell नहीं आती. Even after being COVID positive, the patient will not have sensation of smell and sensation of taste of any food for around about 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, so patient who has coronavirus or who is affected by COVID, those patients will usually have no smell and no taste for about 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, absolutely no taste, absolutely no smell, which makes the patient feel sicker. Another major cases, or majority of the cases are asymptomatic. Yes, very importantly, asymptomatic, a concept which is very misunderstood in the environment. What happens is when people are with stronger immunity, okay, people who have a very strong immune power, a very strong fighting body, when the virus gains entry into that person's body, the virus is unable or is not able to show these symptoms. The virus does not affect the body of the patient, okay, which is why what happens is the patient becomes asymptomatic. Asymptomatic means that there is no symptom or there is no presence or depiction of the disease. Okay, disease है ये पता कैसे चलेगा? अगर ये symptoms है तो disease है पता चलता है, right? But अगर symptoms ही नहीं होंगे तो कैसे पता चलेगा disease है, right? So बहुत बार ऐसे होता है कि patients carry the virus, they have the virus in them, but because they have a very strong immunity, the virus does not cause any of these symptoms. Okay, but does that mean that person is safe to roam about everywhere? Absolutely not. Such asymptomatic patients, in fact, I would say should take majority care, should take care the most, because these people can act as carriers of the virus, right? So if these people feel that हमको तो कुछ नहीं है, हम घूम सकते हैं यहाँ वहाँ, that is absolutely wrong. What these people can do is the virus which is not causing disease in them, they will pass on that virus to another healthy person, and that healthy person might fall sick. Okay, so asymptomatic cases are the ones, or the people who are going to have the virus in their body, but they are not going to suffer from any of these symptoms. Okay, so asymptomatic patients, mostly if they feel or if they come in contact with anybody who is COVID positive, they should get their tests done so that they understand if they are asymptomatic carriers. Okay, and if they are carriers, they should take care that they isolate themselves so that they don't transmit the disease to somebody who does not have it. Okay, for the sake of others, asymptomatic patients should really take care of themselves. Okay, so another very minor symptoms that are usually seen in the COVID-19 disease are having diarrhea. Okay, so diarrhea was a very latent symptom which was seen, latest symptom that was seen in the COVID positive patients. People had a lot of diarrhea, right? For around about 6 to 7 days they had diarrhea, which was later on included as a symptom for the COVID virus. Okay, but primarily these are the symptoms which are seen in the patients of COVID positive. Okay, then usual onset. Okay, when does the disease begin, or how does the disease start, right? Usual onset is on 2nd to 14th day of infection, right? So if you see, whenever you go to a doctor and the people who, if you've spoken to anybody who has been recently found positive, the first history question that the physician or doctor asks them is, have they come into contact with anybody who is COVID positive in the last 2 weeks or in the last 14 days? क्यों? क्योंकि 14 infection के 14th day तक the symptoms can start. Okay, so onset of symptom can be जब virus body में entry करता है, right? Whenever the virus enters the body, उसके 2nd या 14th day के बाद infection symptoms start. Okay, so it depends on person to person, right? It depends on the immunity of the person. People with very good immunity, the virus will not affect them, all right, at all. But depends on the worst of immunities. If the person has a very bad immunity, virus अंदर body के अंदर जाते ही immediately next day symptoms आ जाएंगे. Okay, so it depends on immunity whenever the symptoms begin, but the usual average onset of the disease is from 2 to 14 days, which is why history of traveling is asked. कि last 14 days में travel किया है क्या, last 14 days में किसी patient के साथ contact हुआ है क्या, last 14 days में had you been to some hospital area where you might have come across any COVID positive patient, right? So this is your onset of transmission, usual onset of the disease within 2 to 14 days of transmission. Okay, duration of the virus in body. So usually the virus lives in the body for 14 days. After 14th day, the virus becomes incapacitated or incapable and is excreted out of the body. Okay, so 14 days usually is considered as the viable day for the virus to live in the body. Okay, it can be more or less depending again on the immunity of the patient. Absolutely. Some people, there are a lot of cases these days. Nowadays, since we've reached the phase 2 of coronavirus, we see that every third person in our area or in our vicinity is getting COVID positive, right? So over here, now we see that the immunity of the people has also increased, where in the initial phases of coronavirus, that is during January or February, we used to see that people used to fall sick for weeks together and then eventually end up dead. But nowadays we see cases are that people fall sick and within 2 or 3 days they are absolutely fine. They are tested negative also, maximum 5 days, right? So they are tested negative for coronavirus after 5 days. They are just advised to rest so that the body heals itself, right, for 14 days. Okay, so 14 days is the safe period when the virus will stay in the body. After 14th day, the virus usually exits. But again, that depends on the immunity of the person. If the immunity of the person is horrible or is not really good, the virus might sustain in their bodies after 14 days also. Okay, so this is basically in short about the coronavirus or the COVID-19 disease. Okay, the usual tests to be done are swab tests. Yes, swab test करते हैं, where a swab is taken from the nose, a sample is taken and it is checked for the presence of virus. Okay, and there is a test called as RT-PCR, reverse transcriptase polymerase chain reaction. Okay, reverse transcriptase polymerase chain reaction, polymerase chain reaction. Okay, now this is a test which is very specific for the coronavirus detection, right? So क्या करता है ये? It directly finds out the antigen or directly finds out the virus in the body. Okay, directly पता चलता है the culprit is there in the body or no, right? So RT-PCR is a very specific test which is done for coronavirus, right? So this is in short about the coronavirus disease. All right. So let us quickly revise what we've learned today. Okay, we begin with the coronavirus. Okay, coronavirus is the virus which causes disease. Okay, it causes the disease COVID-19, that is coronavirus disease of the year 2019. Then we saw the history of the disorder, history of the virus, right? The virus dates back to 1930s, where it was seen as an acute respiratory illness in chickens. Then in 1940s it was seen in mice, and 1960s it was the first human case of corona was seen. The coronavirus strain that we are seeing right now, which is causing disease in the world right now, is a very advanced strain, which we've termed it as strain of the 2019. Okay, then we saw what coronavirus is, what is the morphology. It is a spherical virus which has an RNA as its genetic material. It has bulbous spikes, it has a bulbous body which has spikes on it, right? Then it has membrane proteins, it has a nucleoplasmid, okay, it has viral proteins. All of it protect the virus so that it can stay in the environment for a longer time, right? Otherwise, we know viruses don't stay for a long time outside of the body of the host, right? But this virus can, because it has all these factors. Okay, then we saw the genome or the genetic material of the virus is a single stranded RNA. Transmission is host to host, aerosol, fomite and fecal-oral route. We also saw the tests which are done for coronavirus, the swab test and the RT-PCR test. This can be a possible question in your NEET to find out which test it is. Okay, RT-PCR, that is reverse transcriptase polymerase chain reaction test. The coronavirus, it majorly affects the epithelial cells. The symptoms which are usually seen are cold, dry cough, fever, fatigue, shortness of breath, loss of smell and taste. Majority of the cases we see around us these days are asymptomatic. And very lastly, onset of the disease starts from 2 to 14th day of infection, and the virus usually lives in the body of the host for 14 days. Okay, after 14 days in a healthy human being or in a human being with a good immunity, the virus is basically thrown out of the body. Okay, so this is about your coronavirus. We shall stop here, and in the next lecture we will be studying more about viruses as examples. Okay, and we will see the summary of the chapter of biological classification. Okay, see you in the next lecture. Thank you.